Dr. Delvina, help. Your brain love really needs to be felt. Turn me on, don't make me feel on myself. Brain food, brain sleep, neurology health. Brain love on me. I need you to assess, diagnose, and treat. Reveal what's underneath. Some brain love will give me peace. Prescribe me some doc. Ooh, baby. Brain love on me. Brain love. Brain love. Brain love.
Hey guys, it's Dr. Delvina Thomas, a board-certified psychiatrist in South Florida, and it's time for Therapy Thursday. Are you ready to take the couch? Brain love. Tonight's episode is sponsored by Lakai Home Essentials. They make the best candles. So I'll put the information in my verbiage under this video so that you can go on the website and order your candle today. Tonight on the couch, I have a very special guest, Chef P. Woo! Chef P is joining me on the couch, and she's gonna open up tonight about her challenges with mental health and wellness, as well as how she was able to parlay into creating her own empire, starting her own business, and becoming an entrepreneur. Are you ready to take the couch? Chef P.
Hey, hey.
Welcome to the couch, girl.
I'm so excited to be here.
Yes. Are you ready to take the
Salud.
couch?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay. Tap, tap. So, what are we drinking here?
So we have some strawberry lemonade mocktails essence with edible flowers, particularly the fire blossom, which has a citrus essence. And then the smaller flowers, they add like
I
a
wasn't
floral.
ready for it.
Yeah.
I wasn't ready for it, Chef P. I thought I was ready for it, but you guys, edible flowers, like these are real flowers. These are not the joints you get in the store that's sweet and, you know, taste a little like jelly or whatever. These are real flowers.
You have to taste these. This one.
Oh, the yellow ones. Okay.
That I broke up in there. Yeah,
Well-
once you get a little lower in the glass.
Okay, I'll see. Health is wealth, man, and that's why we're talking tonight, because you have such a profound story, and I thought it was essential to share it.
Yes.
And I can't wait to see you cook in my kitchen.
Yes.
So I'm excited. I haven't eaten lunch or anything, so
I
I'm ready
know,
for
I'm
this
hungry.
dinner.
That's why I keep sipping this juice.
Yeah, but real quick before we go in the kitchen, I just want to chat a little bit about your mental health and wellness journey. So you've mentioned before on a couple of interviews that I've heard you on that you were a patient in my office.
Yes.
What year was that?
2018.
Okay, all right.
So that was like 5 years ago.
So do you feel comfortable in saying what brought you to the office, what you wanted help with?
Yes. So I was chronically stressed. I was going to school full time. I was working at a school full time. On top of that, trying to grow my small business. So every Wednesday, I would have a panic attack, and it would lead me to go to the hospital.
So what do you mean every Wednesday? Every Wednesday?
Every Wednesday, I had a statistics class.
Okay.
And on the way to that class or coming home, I would always have a panic attack.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was guaranteed on a Wednesday.
So I don't want to make assumptions. Was anything else happening on that Wednesday, or was it the statistics that was triggering your anxiety?
I think because that was the only day I had a full day. So that day, I would wake up like 4:30 a.m., go to the gym, come home from the gym, get my kids ready for school, drop my kids off to school, go to work, 3, 4 o'clock, get off from work, come home, do meal prep for my clients from 4 to 6, drop the meal prep off to them, then come back home, slap the food in the oven, make it to school by 7 o'clock,
Jeez.
get out of school at like 10:30 at night.
Oh my gosh. How long did you do that?
With the business, I would say like a year and a half.
Okay. So I'm sure looking back on it, you felt like you had to do those things. You had to grind that hard.
Yes.
So that was your Wednesdays. Your Wednesdays were the other days a lot lighter.
No. I feel like I was just in a constant worry, and I felt like the thoughts that I was having and like the experiences that I was having, I was like the only one going through it. Like, because like trying to talk to my peers, they didn't understand what I was going through.
Were they doing as much as you, taking care
No.
of kids, working a job, going to school, had a second job, and your own business?
No.
Were they doing all those things?
No, so, but yeah, it was, whew.
Yeah.
I don't know. I went through, but I just knew that I wanted help. And my old boss, she recommended me to you. She's a Delta as well, Belinda Days.
What year was
And
that? You said what year?
2018.
Okay. So that was actually a year before I became a Delta.
Oh,
So
wow.
I guess that's just a coincidence.
Oh,
But
wow.
big ups to Belinda for the
Right.
referral.
Big ups to Belinda.
So
Don't
you
mind my
came in
fingernails.
for anxiety.
Yeah, so I came in thinking I was crazy. Google told me I wasn't crazy because I had sense enough to Google, am I crazy to Google? Because I was just having
Did you actually Google,
am I crazy?
am I crazy?
Yes.
Okay, what came up?
If you're Googling, am I crazy? You're not crazy because I'm so serious. Because
Okay.
people who are crazy don't think are they crazy. They just,
Yeah,
you
they have
know.
very little insight into their impairments.
Right. And so I knew that I wanted to get rid of the feeling. I didn't know how, but I was desperately searching for an outlet.
Okay. All right. So you came in with your anxiety. I'll just say that, when someone has a goal, they do whatever they need to do to get things done.
Yes.
A few moments ago, I said, "Oh my gosh, you did so many things." But as you were talking, I was sitting here thinking about my own life and my own come up. And there were times I had 2 and 3 jobs, but I didn't have my own business. So that's a whole nother burden of, is it going to be successful? Will I make money? Not wanting to displease your customers and your clients. So I think that's a whole nother level of worry and responsibility. What about your diet? What changes did you make with your diet?
I began intermittent fasting. So ultimately, I had become like a hypochondriac. Like I think because hypochondriac. Because anything like if I stubbed my toe, I would be on Google for 2 hours about blood clots. Like if I stubbed my toe, did I get a blood clot? Or if I cut my hand here, I would have been in the hospital. So then I began intermittent fasting because I had this obsession with high blood pressure. So I would, every time I go to the grocery
Did you
store.
have high blood pressure? Okay.
No, but because
So that
I
was a
was
part of
freaking
your-
out about it so much,
Yeah.
every time I would get my pressure checked, because my anxiety would be so high, it would look high, So, but then like 5 minutes later, it'll go down. So then, yeah. But, so I started taking garlic. I started eating the dragon fruit.
Dragon fruit.
I started like taking different blood cleansers and then doing anything to heighten magnesium in my body. I planted a moringa tree in my backyard.
Is it still there?
Well, I don't
Well,
live
you've
in the
moved
house
since
anymore,
then,
but
yeah.
hopefully it's still there.
Was it, so did it, you planted it, did it grow, did it bloom?
It was I bought it already like a tree, and then I just planted it, and then and I would pull off my leaves and make my tea and everything.
Okay.
And I didn't get any little seed sproutlets
Okay.
yet, but
So some alternative interventions.
yes, and so I started meditating and then just becoming comfortable with myself. I would say just becoming comfortable with myself
Yeah.
and allowing myself to experience certain things. So, like, acknowledging certain things that may have caused damage to me in the past that I just got over. And yeah, a young girl. She was Miss. I want to say she was Miss South Florida for. She was Miss South Florida for Juneteenth. But she was like, "How did you get through whatever you went through?" And I was like, "I allowed myself to go through it." So if I wanted to cry, I cried. If I felt like I needed to cry, I cried. If I felt like I needed to scream, I screamed. If I felt like I needed to curse, I cursed. If I felt like I needed moments of silence and just demanded everyone out of my space, I did that.
So Chef, say why you allowed yourself to go through those moments.
Because I never wanted to see myself back in the place that I was before, and I feel like I got there because I was operating off a super ego, and so I was just tucking. It was like a suitcase that was just busting open, you know?
So you are allowing yourself to feel, to process your emotions, and going through things that makes us stronger. And I think that's what people don't embrace is, they're afraid of the discomfort. They don't want the discomfort, but there's so much learning and trials and tribulations.
There is. Yep. And I don't regret anything that I've been through. Could I imagine me being here where I am today? Hell no. Like, no. But believe in yourself. I practice the law of attraction as well a lot. So in practicing the law of attraction and being comfortable with yourself, you have to be a lot. You have to also know how to choose your thoughts wisely. I feel like now we don't because the media is just so much, but yeah.
You mentioned something. You mentioned being able to be yourself. And I think that is something that's very essential for people to embrace, to understand, because being yourself, being your true self, you are eccentric.
Yes.
And I recognize eccentric because I can be the same way. We're both Aquarius.
Yes.
And that's something that is known about an Aquarius is we're eccentric, we're a free spirit. By the way, folks, free spirit does not mean fluid. It's not the same as fluid. I had to just interject that because I've had people in my DMs asking questions. Free-spirited does not mean you're fluid sexually. Free-spirited has a lot of different meanings. It has nothing to do with sexuality.
Right.
Okay. So we're bringing together food and mental health and wellness. Tonight we're cooking.
Yes.
Salmon
and I'm
and
so
spinach.
excited.
Yes. So with your with being eccentric and being eclectic, do you think people misunderstand you at times?
Oh, all the time. I don't think anybody in this world gets, well, my kids, they get all of me because they, but I don't think anybody in this world gets like me, like all of me, because it's a lot. But, how can I say it? I feel like Aquarian people, and I'm just speaking for myself, guys. Aquarius beings, we are extremely intelligent, like robots, kind of, because we have like very strong analytic abilities. So like we record everything, and then we know how to adapt. So I've built like a safety zone within myself, like to know how to adapt. So then I feel like people get confused, or people don't understand my personality because they can't understand it, but it's okay because I make it that way. Like, I feel like we like the mystery, you know?
So I'll say this and then we'll cook.
Okay.
Some of my colleagues, maybe not necessarily BIPOC colleagues, but some of my colleagues might look at you and say you're bipolar because of the pink hair. You know, if you guys aren't following Chef P on Instagram, follow her on Instagram. She's very colorful, but that doesn't make someone bipolar. Bipolar is a serious mental illness that there's so many different criteria that someone has to meet, they have to display to be diagnosed with bipolar. You mentioned personality. So, you know, there's other...
I got like 6 of those, but that's different.
Let's cook, y'all.
Yes! Okay, guys, so we're gonna slice our bread, 1-inch thick slices. I'm gonna season the salmon fillets with my house seasoning. We're gonna mix our cream cheese mixture, a spoonful of house seasoning. I put this on everything. And this is whipped cream cheese, guys. Then we're gonna take, I would say like a 1/2 cup of Italian cheese. And we're gonna mix both of these together. Thank you. Then we have our seasoned salmon, our sliced bread, and our spinach. Now let's go over to the stove. We're just gonna take a little bit of water and we're gonna wilt our spinach. Okay, so we don't wanna cook it. We just want it cooked down, wilt it lightly, guys. So now we're gonna mix this in our cream cheese mixture. And it's okay if you have a little bit of water left in there because it'll just mix into the cream cheese. And so you want to mix everything together until you have a consistency like this. For the heck of it, I'm just gonna add a little bit more house seasoning. All right, cool. So now I have my pan on high heat. Drop some garlic butter into the pan, and then we're gonna go ahead and drop our fillets in. So then we're gonna turn that down, and then we're just gonna cover it and allow it to sit on low while we go over and prep the bread. And on one side of the bread, we're gonna put mayonnaise. Okay, then we're gonna add a little bit of Italian cheese. Then on this side, we're adding the spinach spread. We gonna make this thing big and sexy, yeah. And then because the bread slice is so thick, don't be afraid to like push the mixture into the bread. Now we're gonna take our salmon put the salmon right on top here. And then I'm gonna take a fork and then mash out the salmon onto the
Oh,
bread.
and it's not overcooked. Yes. Yes, so many benefits from salmon. So omega-3 fatty acids are good for your heart. They help decrease inflammation and they support our brain health. So just remember that. Salmon is a superfood.
So I'm gonna see if I'm able to spread it.
And we all know about Popeye. Popeye would eat spinach, right, to be stronger. And he was gaining strength because spinach helps to boost your iron. Is this the last step, chef? Last step?
This is the last step, guys. So we have to make sure that bread is nice and toasty. Look at that. Ooh. This like one of those sandwiches you put in the oven for like 3 minutes and just let sit on like 300 just to get that extra marination. Ooh. Yes, Lord. There you go.
Cooking with Chef Pete.
Hey, girl. That's to show the crunchiness. Oh, my goodness. Grand Reaper. My God, I gotta go home and make this. Whew. Woo!
Oh my gosh.
Woo! Look at that. Okay.
Cheers again.
Okay, come on, y'all.
Okay. That seasoning.
It's like Alfredo
Mm-hmm.
in the bread. Like Alfredo sandwich
Wow, this is crazy good.
without the pasta.
Okay. I need to try the pink sauce now. So now I'm dipping in the pink sauce.
That's really good. And then everything that I was doing was out of pure ambition. It was out of me just wanting to do all of the things and thinking that I could handle them. And then once I crashed, it was a nightmare.
Okay.
Because once I crashed, not even me could take me out of that place at that moment. And then it's just like, for me, being such a faith-driven woman, a headstrong and like free-spirited person, for me to have like so much worry and, you know, constantly like worry, panic, like, yeah, that wasn't my normal way of doing things, you know?
So you said you worked like that for about 1.5 years. When you mentioned crashing, when did you crash?
I remember my first panic attack like it was yesterday. It happened August 9th, 2018.
So those 18 months were kind of leading up to your visit to my office, to DRT Behavioral Services. So your crash was before you came into the office.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So I never forget it. I was sitting in the garage having a conversation, just a simple conversation. And it wasn't a high stress conversation. And my heart just started beating like out of my chest. Like didn't do drugs, didn't like consume alcohol. I went to the gym, had a healthy lifestyle, and I literally felt like I was gonna fall on the floor and die out of nowhere. And so from that moment, every time I would have a little twinge or any feeling of like uncomfortable in my abdominal area, I would automatically go into freak out mode because I felt like I was gonna go back into that panic state, and then that triggered me to go back into the panic state.
Yeah, we call that anticipatory anxiety. So because you felt that full-blown attack previously, when there's some sort of reminder of what you felt before, it just kind of triggers or cycles into another attack.
Right.
If you haven't learned how to control it and talk yourself down.
Right. Well, what I would say I learned from like being a patient at Brain Love is to realize my triggers. And when I say realize my triggers for everything, so like even like anxiety, depression, and even anger, you know? So what are my limits, you know? How far would I allow a certain situation to take me? And that goes for anything. Will it distract me too much? Will it make me sad? Will it make me angry? So I feel like going through all of those things just kind of opened that clarity for me, or it made things clear for me.
Okay. What were some other things that you did to address your mental health challenges?
I started painting, expressing myself through art. So like, and Alfrena Musa, she just had an art therapy yesterday, and I didn't make it, but I wanted to come. But I started expressing myself through color. And even now till this day, I'll still grab my sketch pad and draw whatever. Gardening, connecting with nature. I would say when I was going through a really, really deep depression, like stuck in my head, clouded, I would walk, I would look at nature, touch the flowers and stuff like that, look at the sky. Because another thing as well, I find that we internalize so much, like from scrolling on social media. Like if you think about like consciousness, right? If you think about laying on the bed for an hour, right? And you're scrolling on social media, if you close your eyes for 5 minutes, can you recall 10 videos that you just watched in that 1 hour? You can't. So I find that I was losing like my self-awareness or my consciousness because...
Or your ability to be mindful.
Right, because I was just like scrolling so much. So like it was just like looking at real life was weird to me, you know? Like it was like, wow, this is the sun. Like, yeah, but...
I'm glad that you made that distinction because that is something a lot of people struggle with is being in the moment.
Yes.
Being mindful. So when you just talked about being outside, looking at the sky, feeling the sun, going on walks and paying attention to your environment, that's what being mindful is.
Absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, being mindful is being in that current moment, not thinking about your past.
Yeah.
Not thinking about the future, just thinking about what's happening with you and around you in that moment. And hearing you say, I'm so glad that you brought up social media and all the time that some people spend, that they invest in being on social media, but they're not really attentive. It's kind of just like an automatic thing that they're doing.
Because it's an escape. I feel like when I was depressed, like my ex, he would come home and I'm in the dark, no dinner on the stove, like, and he like, you're in a trance, hello, like, just, yeah.
So
It's an escape.
you experienced anxiety, and now you just mentioned depression.
Yes. Yeah, but I feel like I was always like in denial of my depression. I feel like my anxiety overshadowed my depression because there were so many things that I just like closed the door on, but didn't like say goodbye to. Like, I don't know. I don't like to be sad. I don't know. My great grandmother died. I braided her hair while she was dead and didn't cry until 2 years later.
So why do you think in that moment, have you thought about it? Why didn't I allow myself to cry in the moment or soon after that moment? Did you feel like you had to be strong? Did you feel like crying made you weak? Did you feel like you didn't have maybe the capacity at the time to express those emotions because you were doing so many other things?
I felt like maybe it was selfish to cry
Okay.
because she wasn't suffering. I mean, she was suffering. And she said goodbye. Like, she was strong. Like, she was like one of those type of women. Like, I was like, all right, because she always taught me like about like the power of the tongue and, you know, stuff like that. So she would always say like she never allowed us to tell her goodbye like when we were kids. So she would always say, don't tell me goodbye, tell me I'll see you later, you know? So the last time I was like, all right, Grandma, I'll see you later. I'm coming tomorrow. She was like, goodbye. You're not going to see me tomorrow. And she passed away like midnight.
You said this was your grandmother or your
My
great-grandmother?
great-grandmother.
Yeah. So for folks who may not know, your mother passed away when you were just
A month.
a baby.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And your grandmother and your great-grandmother raised you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my grandma, my great-grandmother, and my grand-aunt. Yep.
Yeah. So I just wanted to highlight that and emphasize it because for some people may not be close to their grandparents or even have met their great-grandparents. I just wanted folks to know how close you were to her and to your grandmother.
Yes, okay. And if you do, cherish those moments. Like I tell my kids, like we used to terrorize her, but oh my goodness, we used to call her and be like, hey, sexy red, I see you sitting on the couch with that dress on. Ooh, you look good. She go, my husband been dead for 30 years.
Wait, well, you guys were
We were
calling your grandmother, your great-grandmother?
This is like Bell South days.
So she didn't know it was you.
No. Because we had just got cell phones. Like, this like when Metro PCS first came out. Like, so like early. So we call, and if she starts 69, she still don't know that it's, because you know like how Metro, they would allow you to put like your name like SpongeBob, whatever, you know? Yep.
So we can't put someone in a box just because we don't understand them. That's really the lesson I want to push tonight is that we cannot force someone into a box because we don't understand them. It's okay to be different. It's okay to be unique. It's okay to be eccentric. It's okay to be eclectic. All those things are okay. So I just wanted to highlight that.
Yes, and also I want to say like everything, well, a lot of the things that I do is to kind of like paved the way for other creators that like suffer with the same thing that I suffer with, or that I'm healing from. Because there's somebody else out there with a crazy idea, or at least, you know, other people think it's crazy, that can change the world. It can change their lives. It could change their entire family life. I give them hope to, you know, say, well, it's okay. You know, she didn't have a crazy ending and the entire world threw pitchforks in her back, you know, for being different. But you can be strong and you can press through it and just be true to yourself. And I just hope I give creators just that outlet.
Guys, thank you for joining us on the couch.
This was awesome. I hope y'all learned something. Also, leave a comment down below. Let us know what y'all thought about it. Let us know if y'all gonna try out the sandwiches. And yeah, brain love. Brain love.
For more brain love on the couch with board certified psychiatrist Dr. Delvina, make sure you follow on Instagram at Dr. Delvina and at DRT Brain Love. Also, make sure you tune into the Brain Love podcast, airing each and every Sunday at 8 p.m. with a new episode on all podcast